Gold mining in Vihiga County.
We've mapped out 273 sites. Then we have also these companies, those are now doing it on large scale.
Many people may not know that Vihiga, there's a lot of mining going on, and particularly gold mining.
Tumetoa korti, tumetawanyisha na mercury.
Hapa kabisa tuko chini ya ardhi futi 150.
Hii mercury iko na ugonjwa. Sisi tunasugua na mkono tupu.
Such a complex economy with both negative and positive impact.
Hii kazi ya gold ilinisaidia kulipa rent, chakula na school fees.
We must work with the national government to put systems and regulations.
Spend a day traversing Vihiga County and you are likely to come across sounds of hammers, sounds of blasting machines, sounds of water pumps and generators from the fast-growing mining sector. The sector is divided into different categories. First, the artisanal miners.
Artisanal miners are the low-level miners who are using largely handheld tools. Their technology is not very much advanced, and generally they work on a trial and error basis. So these are the kind of miners we have largely been visiting. They work sometimes in groups and they use whatever resources are available to them to access the minerals.
The second category is small-scale miners.
These ones have moved a notch higher. They may be engaging some use of machinery and technology to some extent.
The other category is large-scale miners or industrial miners.
These ones are extremely commercial, operating on a very large scale, and for these ones, their licensing is a reserve of the national government through the relevant ministry.
So far for the artisanal miners, we've mapped out 273 sites. And then we have also these companies, that is Livelihood. Now we're doing it on large scale. Also, we've incorporated them in the same.
Gold mining has been in existence for close to over 100 years because our forefathers used to mainly mine in different areas of Vihiga. And gold mining currently is happening in Hamisi sub-county, mainly in Muhudu ward, and then it's happening at Sabatia sub-county and some parts of Muhaya and Luanda sub-county.
We begin our journey in Muhudu ward, Hamisi constituency, and we are surprised to find that even homesteads are dotted with mining activities. Mama Felista Omkasia is an artisanal miner.
Hii kazi tulianza kitambo kidogo kwa sababu ya ukame. Niliona badala ya watoto wangu kupotelea mitaa na kusumbua wenzangu. Vitina nifungue huko kwangu. Watoto waingie waanze kutoa hizi mawe.
Hii inatoka kwa shamba yako?
Hii inatoka kwa shamba yangu hapo chini mwisho. Sasa walizoea. Ni wengi vijana tumeandika, wengi wanatoka Kuria.
Kuria? Kaunti zingine wanakuja hapa
wanakuja huku kufanya kazi.
Na mlijuaje kuna gold hapa?
Sasa wakati mmoja tulianza kulima na tukakutana na mawe moja inawaka. So kijana anga akasema na hii mawe imewaka, na alikuwa mahali akaona ikiwaka hivyo, akaona kuna mahali niliona ikiwa hivi inaweza kuwa gold.
So umuhimu wa gold kwa maisha yenu hapa imewabadilisha maisha na
imetubadilisha maisha. Njaa haiwezi kukuuma ukiwa na hii. Hatuwezi enda kwa mtu tukope tukose kulipa.
Nikusaidie?
Nisaidie tu. Nisaidie tu.
Lakini hii nikifanya kila siku nitajenga misuli.
Alafu badala ya kwenda gym utakuwa sawa.
Statistics indicate that there are over 15,000 artisanal miners in Vihiga County supporting many livelihoods. There are 141 crushers, 144 washing ponds, and 162 buying centers. The number of shafts is estimated at 90. A shaft is a vertical or nearly vertical excavation or tunnel dug from the surface downwards to reach ore deposits beneath the earth. And what is an ore deposit? It is a naturally occurring concentration of minerals within a rock that can be economically extracted for valuable metals or other minerals. The mining sector in Kenya was generally unregulated until the year 2016, when the first Mining Act came into force. Mining is a national government function, but the government collaborates with county governments in regulation and coordination of activities on the ground.
Nobody knows exactly who pays how much, but the people in the industry there, they will know who pays the highest and so on. So from there, where the gold goes, if you ask me, I will not know. For us, we are only allowed to deal with artisanal miners. The industry or the artisanal miners, the local people, I can say they have been exploited extensively. And I'm sure if you have gone to see the shaft, the holes where they go, it's a very dangerous job. We agreed when the ministry started, we started organizing our artisanal miners to form an association. And I'm happy to report that last year we were able to form Vihiga Gold Artisanal Miners Association, which now brings all the small-scale miners who come together, and they are able now to speak as one voice with one circle. And we are now putting in place regulations on how they should behave, on how then, for the first time, the county government can levy tax to the activities that are being done during the mining and so on and so on.
Alan Kayesi Anyanje is the chairman of the Artisanal Mining Committee. He is also the chairman of Vihiga Artisanal and Small Scale Mining Association.
For the Artisanal Mining Committee, we recommend to the Director of Mines for the issuance of permits to the artisanal miners. So we look at their environmental assessment impact report, and then we recommend for the issuance of the permit after the application. And for the association, we mainly deal with the welfare of the miners. That is, we register them, and then we ensure their safety, because the resilience team is anchored to the association.
Maana ya resilience team ni kuhakikisha ya kwamba usalama ya wachimbaji mahali pa kazi iko sawa kwa upande ya wenye kuchimba, na ikiwa pengine kuna mizozo zinapata kutatuliwa na hii team. Pengine wachimbaji wamekutana chini ya ardhi na wamekosa kuelewana, wao wanaitisha usaidizi wa hii team, and then tunakuja kuwafundisha ama kuwaelimisha na kuwaweka pamoja na kutatua hiyo mzozo na kuweka boundary.
Now, a gold mine in Maragoli language is known as Ikichutu.
Tumekuwa na visa mingi sana ambayo ilikuwa ikiendelea kwa upande ya uchimbaji, and then ulikuwa unapata ya kwamba watu wanakufa kwa sababu mashimo hazikuwa zinajengwa. Lakini tangu hii timu ianze kuwekwa, na wakati ilipowekwa mbele ya Waziri Ann na nikachaguliwa, na nikaanza majukumu ya kutafuta kwa kila sub-county representative yule ambaye anajua mambo ya mining kindani, na wakaenda training kufundishwa jinsi ambavyo wanaweza rescue watu yao, na tena kwa mambo ya safety. Tumepunguza visa mingi sana ya watu kukufia kwa mashimo ama ajali zenye zilikuwa zinafanyika kwa mashimo, kwa sababu ajali zilikuwa zimekuwa nyingi sana Vihiga County.
If the shafts are not constructed well, they collapse. and most of our miners are killed, are trapped under the shafts, so they end up dying. So the welfare is there for that. If we have some injuries, it is supposed to take care of their hospital bills, and in case of, if the accident is fatal, in case of death, and then we take care of the family by getting money from the monthly contributions.
We have mapped artisanal and small-scale miners so that we have an organizational structure that will ensure that the coordination of the activities and the intended economic empowerment through these mining activities is well coordinated. And that is why we have established cooperatives for each mining area. Because if you leave them to just other brokers and you have no channels of processing their gold, then it becomes difficult for them to have value for the hard work they are doing.
We have had people who are dealers in mining, people coming from Nairobi, Mombasa. We have people here coming from Tanzania. We have people coming from Uganda and even DRC Congo who come here, and they are the ones who contract the local people to go in the shafts, digging the holes and supervising the refining of gold through a very, very elaborate process.
In Vihiga County, we came across various players in the mining sector. There is the landlord on whose land mining activities take place. Secondly, there is the investor or the person who commits financial resources required to activate and sustain a mining activity. Some investors are landlords at the same time. A miner, on the other hand, is the person or professional who provides labor in various ways, including excavation, crushing, and washing. The other player is the buyer or the person who is engaged in the business of acquiring the gold. In most cases, the buyer acts as a broker, selling to a larger dealer for onward selling to Nairobi and onwards.
Basically, what happens here in Vihiga, I think the gold miners enter into an understanding with the owners of the land for the lease of that land for a certain duration of time, and in which they extract the gold. And how deep they go depends on where the gold deposits are. These people, they can go as deep as even 300 feet underground to get the gold deposits. The horizontal, of course, is quite very dangerous business because you can go horizontal and you can be mining under somebody's house. So we don't normally encourage them to go quite a large horizontal distance. They should stick within the mining sites that have been licensed. Of course, the land below, 6 feet below, actually belongs to the government. And that is why we are telling these people, we are giving them the guidelines on how they should utilize that land, and of course remit the revenue to the county government.
The 6-feet land ownership concept is inferred from the inherent public ownership of all public goods, which include minerals and water. The Mining Act expressly states that all minerals are owned by the national government in trust of the people. Now we are in a village called Bulukhombe in Hamisi constituency. Let's take you down a shaft to see what is below the surface. The walls of the shaft are strengthened by wood pillars. You are hearing the voice of Wycliffe Musembe, a miner at this site.
Hizi ni pipe za kutoa maji. Alafu naona hizi kamba ni za kufunga hizo mapaipu. Hizo pump. Wakati unateremsha chini, unakuwa na urahisi wa kuziteremsha, ukitaka kutoa tena unavuta tu na hizi pump zinatoa hizo chini, hizi kamba zinatoa pump.
Tunazungumza tukiwa chini.
Hapa kabisa tuko chini ya ardhi futi 150.
No, basa.
Bali kabisa. Yaani hapa
ni Mungu.
Mimi mwenyewe naweza choronga nilipue mwamba, nitege nilipue, watu watoe mawe nje na watu wafaidike na watu waendelee. Na ndio maana unaona vile mmetembea kidogo, mmeona vijana wadogo hivi wengi ambao hawakuwa na mafanikio ya shuleni kupata masomo, sasa hivi walianza hapa, na sisi wenye tulianza kitambo kidogo tumewapea maarifa. Mtu akipata pesa unajua utafanya nini. Ndio maana unaona hii mazingira ya huku kwetu, at least hii gold imetuinua kiwango cha juu sana. Tungekuwa na uwezo vizuri vile nishaiona kidogo wa China wakifanya, yani tungepata mashini ya kutosha kama crane. Umenipata vizuri? Alafu hiyo shimo tunaipanua kwa upana na inajengwa vizuri, inajengwa paka na machuma. Ina uwezo unaweza shuka paka futi 600, 700.
Mining is helping many youths achieve their dreams. Dominic Liru, who hails from Bungoma County, is a criminology student at Kaimosi Friends University.
Hapa kwa hii kampuni mimi nafanya kazi kama secretary. Nikiingia kazi lazima nihakikishe kila mfanyikazi ameingia. Mzazi wasimuitishi rent, chakula na school fees labda analipa nusu. Hata vile tumefungua hivi nishalipa rent ya semester yote. Chakula nilinunua kwa nyumba ya semester yote.
Benson Andeche Mwaka is the investor at this mining site in Bulohombe, Hamisi.
Kama hapa mahali tuko nilikutana na mwenye hapa, tukaelewana na hivi vizuri, tukaweka agreement, tukaandikishana chinzi percent, mimi nipe 40%, yeye 30%, wafanyakazi 25%. Hiyo ni production yenye imekuja juu, mapato yenye imekuja juu. Hiyo mawe tunahesabu kama ni karai 100. Sasa tunaweka kwa percent. Na kwa sababu mimi nikuwe 40%, mimi ndio nilikuwa nimesimamia kila kitu. Mashini zangu, chakula yangu, kila kitu mimi ndio nimesimamia. Kwanza kitu ya kwanza imenisaidia watoto wanasoma. Kitu ya pili imenisaidia nimenunua shamba 2. Kitu ya tatu imenisaidia wangu mimi binafsi nitaweza kukwako na pesa kwa mfuko. Na tena ya pili nimefungua biashara nyingine kando na hii. Kwa hii kazi imenipatia hoteli, nimeajiri watu wengine kwa hii hoteli.
Let's go to another site. Buvasi in Ilwonza sublocation, Sabatia constituency. It's a beehive of activity. Neville Onzere is a blaster. Here he is demonstrating what he does underground in the shaft, where blasting takes place before the stones are lifted to the surface.
I'm a teacher by profession. This job has really helped me as a youth. I'm able to provide for my family, seeing my mom happy, my dad.
Harun Enonda Ugwemba is the landowner at this site and the investor at the same time. He is operating both artisanal and small-scale mining, with many artisanal miners etching a living from his site.
Now, at most sites here, you'll find that workers are not really workers and they are not paid the normal way through cash. Rather, they are like shareholders. So the sponsor or the investor will be giving them a certain percentage of the stones, like this sack here, so that they can go extract gold themselves from the stones. And that's your payments. Eh? Ama namna gani? Yes, that's what happens.
Yeah, that's what happens.
So you are going to pay yourself, extract gold from here. Great.
The women you see here have formed an association known as Irunza Women Mining Group. They buy the stones, crush them manually, and extract gold themselves.
The process of extracting gold can be quite lengthy and time-consuming, quite manual as indicated earlier, but I'm sure you are keen to just understand. So how do they go about getting gold from all this mess?
In the background, you can see people are busy. Now that's the final ore that has been crushed through the crusher. Now they're trying to trap the gold. They use the sisal sack, the one that will trap the gold. Now from there, they'll go and sieve. They'll sieve till they remain with the small particles, the one that they'll put in mercury, and then they'll crush. The mercury, the work of the mercury, just to bring the gold together, so it can be easy for them to be separated from the ore, the rest of the ore.
Tukishaosha, tumesiaga, tumemaliza kazi yote, tumeosha kabisa, tumesugua, tumetoa kordi, tumetawanyisha na mercury. Hii kordi mimi nitaenda kuchoma mwenyewe na nipe mwenye nataka, niuzie mwenye nataka, inategemea na bei yako. Juu kuna mwenye anafanya gram 8,500, kuna mwenye anafanya 7,800, kuna mwenye anafanya 8,000.
This one is the reef.
Oh, hii ndio inaitwa reef. This is the reef. This black belt.
This is the black belt. Na gold inanitu kwa reef peke yake. Huwezi pata imeenda ukando. Inafaa tu the reef peke yake.
Utapata hapa gold hapa na hapa, utaipata hapa.
Utaipata. So ukitafutanga gold, tunatafuta reef kwanza.
Unagonga hapa.
Unatafuta reef kwanza. Ukishapata reef, hapo ndo penye gold iko.
So hii inaweza kuwa iko na, tunaweza ona kwa mbali. Oh, this is another reef. Oh, that yellowish. The yellowish thing is the gold.
The gold now. You see it along the reef.
Na ni kitu kidogo tu.
Kitu kidogo ndo tunatafuta. So now you go and press this, ndio utoe hii.
Kanaweza kuwa kiasi kama hii umeshika
something small like this ndo tunatafuta tu.
So meaning unaweza kuwa na mawe mengi.
Unaweza kuwa na a sack of many stones na upata hata anything like this ndo tunaenda kuuza, which is so valuable.
It's tiny but valuable.
But valuable, yeah.
So this it could fetch you how much?
Like 5,000, 6,000.
5,000, 6,000?
Yeah.
Gold mining has given a new look to many villages here in Vihiga County, with many new iron-roofed houses seen here and there.
The livelihoods of people in Vihiga is dependent on agriculture, subsistence agriculture, because our land parcels are very small. On average, I would say people have just a half an acre, but in some areas they are even a quarter an acre. Mining will fit in very well, and it will be a major source of income, because currently our major source of income is through the licensing of traders.
Watoto wamesoma, watoto wako huko, watoto wanafanya kazi zao huko, nimebaki tu na wajukuu. Nikiwa nafanya tu hii kazi na bado ninaifanya. Kama ni nyumba nimetengenezako nyumba hivi ni kwa sababu ya hii kazi. Kama ni kuku niko nazo nimefuga ni kwa sababu ya hii kazi. Kama ni ng'ombe niko nayo ni kwa sababu ya hii kazi. Ndiposa unaona bado naifurahia mpaka wakati huu niko 64 years.
We have taken you through the traditional methods of extracting gold from the ore. There is another method known as leaching, where chemical solutions are used to extract gold. In Vihiga County, there are 25 leaching plants.
Largely, it involves the use of residue from artisanal mining, where a processor is able to access this residual material, then they are able to take them through a process so that they are able to gain access to the residual deposits, a recognized process in mining.
Zinc dust move around the solution, it collects the gold in the solution.
Finally, let's look at the large-scale category of gold mining in Vihiga County. And here we are at a plant owned by Kitigu Gold Processing Resources in South Maragoli.
What we do here, we install that process called flotation. Flotation is a new method of gold processing. It came to replace leaching. Shida ya leaching ndio uwe hiyo mchanga yote, lazima utumie chemical very powerful. Ndio uwe hizo mchanga ubaki na chuma na metals. So Kitigu Resources import this system of flotation, of which is quick and is more friendly to environment.
In this mining story, there are many stories within it. Environment, climate change, trade, education, health, gender, child labor, and so on.
As you crush rocks, there is a lot of dust. And that's why in these areas, respiratory diseases are so high. It's over 80%. People are dying from respiratory.
Tulikuwa mahali tukaambiwa hii mercury iko na ugonjwa. Na ajabu ni kwamba sisi tunasugua na mkono tupu.
When they even go to eat, sometimes they don't wash their hands. Like bananas, they are just given and they peel and they swallow. In the process, some end up swallowing those particles of mercury. And mercury being a heavy metal, once it gets into the body, it gets into the kidneys, gets into the kidneys, and people will die. But the more important is that most of this water and the dust and the material waste is disposed in our rivers. And you know, here 3/4 of the people get water from water springs, traditional water springs. So the danger of that mercury is getting into our water system is very high.
We are going to train them on how other alternative ways in which they can still extract gold without using the mercury products. Mining is quite an activity that needs a lot of awareness on the safety of the miners. Even the amount of noise that is produced here is quite huge. And these people, the miners, need to protect themselves from the huge sound that is produced by the shafts and the crushers.
Soil erosion is a major issue in those areas. We have also a problem whereby they are cutting trees. For example, they are doing mining in is that Kibiri forest, Kibiri and Kaimos forest. And in the only indigenous forest, the remnant of Congo forest, they are inside there. They are cutting trees, they are cutting vegetation to do all this thing. So they are really doing a lot of damage to our environment.
We are focusing on just sensitization, and that's the practical thing, and awareness on how these people can maintain the environment and also continue with the activities to generate their daily livelihood. First, we also have the wastes from other sources that we deposit in those degraded areas so that we recover them. And then we grow trees there so that we rehabilitate those mining sites to avoid adverse environmental impacts.
Our goal is to see a mining sector where everybody benefits from it. Not just the major miners, but also the artisanal miners who do the donkey work and the crude ways of mining. So we want to encourage them to embrace new ideas that are coming into the sector so that we work together and be able to grow our county as we expect it to grow.
Kitigo Gold Mining Company, I would say, is a company that has demonstrated that mining should be environmentally friendly, but it should also benefit the community. We insisted that they put up a purification system to purify and ensure that all the impurities and the soil dust, what comes out of their factory is clean water. And I'm happy they have put up a very professional filtration system.
Tumetoa hiyo mchanga, tumeseparate na maji. Hiyo maji tumekuja tukifilter, tumeitreat na mpaka final yenye inaenda kwa mto ndio hii. So you can see is a clean water.
It's safe kuwekwa kwa mto sasa.
It's safe.
Wow, what a journey. What a journey. I began with generalities and I went into details to understand this complex economy. Yes, quite complex, and it has huge socioeconomic benefits, yet it comes with so many risks. It requires that there is strict regulations, enforcement of those regulations, and adherence to those regulations by the various players in the sector. Otherwise, we would be courting disaster.